Welcome back to Penny Vault, the ultimate channel for rare coin lovers and collectors who dream of discovering treasures hidden in plain sight, because today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of one of the most extraordinary coins ever to circulate in the United States, the 2000 Liberty 1 cent coin. A simple penny that was supposed to hold just a face value of 1 cent but has turned out to be worth an unbelievable $4.8 million, thanks to its incredible minting errors, unique features, and historical importance that make it a true legend in the world of numismatics. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that millions of people passed by every day without noticing, a coin struck in the year 2000 at the Denver Mint that seemed like any other copper-plated zinc penny, featuring Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the classic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, yet deep within its design and metal lies a story of mistakes, misalignments, and mysteries that turned this ordinary coin into a priceless piece of American history. When the year 2000 came around, the U.S. Mint was busy producing billions of Lincoln cents, continuing a design tradition that had been in place since 1959, but as with many minting processes, not every planchet, die, and strike came out perfectly aligned, and that is where the story of this legendary 2000 Liberty cent begins. Collectors have long known that small differences or anomalies during production can lead to astronomical values, and in this case, those differences are nothing short of remarkable. The most famous version of the 2000 Liberty cent that has fetched millions features a double die obverse error, meaning that the die used to strike the coin imprinted two slightly offset images on the surface, causing visible doubling in the word Liberty, the date 2000, and sometimes even in Lincoln's eye or facial outline. This doubling effect isn't just an aesthetic oddity, it's a physical record of a mechanical mistake during production, where the die received two impressions that weren't perfectly aligned. This rare minting accident created a striking visual difference noticeable even to the naked eye, but only if you know what to look for, and it's that difference that has fascinated collectors and experts for decades. The value of such a coin doesn't come from its metal content, which is worth less than a penny, but from the sheer improbability of its existence and its immaculate preservation in a world where billions of identical coins were made. Now, you might wonder how a coin like this could be worth millions when most pennies are barely worth their face value. The answer lies in rarity, condition, demand, and most importantly, the story behind the error. The 2000 Mint mark refers to the Denver Mint, one of the key facilities of the United States mint system, and while Denver has a reputation for quality control, occasional slips in the die-making process can create remarkable variance. The coin in question displays a peculiar mint mark misplacement, sometimes slightly tilted, doubled, or even missing its clarity, which when combined with a strong die error transforms it into a one-of-a-kind specimen. In the coin collecting world, uniqueness drives value, and when such an error occurs on a coin that is otherwise flawless, the result is numismatic gold. Experts have theorized that the 2000 Liberty cent with this rare error could have been part of an early die test run, possibly struck before the alignment of the die was properly adjusted, resulting in a small handful of double-struck pieces escaping into circulation. Some reports suggest that only a few examples of this error are known to exist, each with minor variations in doubling, and these slight differences make every known specimen individually special and highly sought after. Auction houses have seen bidding wars erupt over verified examples, with prices soaring into the millions as collectors fight to own a piece of U.S. minting history. The story doesn't stop there. The 2000 Liberty cent's fame also comes from other varieties of striking anomalies discovered by sharp-eyed collectors. Some versions display what's known as an off-center strike, where the image and lettering are not perfectly centered on the coin's surface, leaving part of the design missing and a crescent of blank metal exposed. Others show die cracks, cuds, or planchet laminations, small imperfections that occur when metal layers separate during striking. Every one of these errors adds to the story and uniqueness of each coin. But the real jackpot lies in the double die variety combined with a mint mark anomaly, creating a combination so unlikely that collectors consider it a once-in-a-lifetime find. The rise in interest for such error coins has been tremendous, especially as more people become fascinated by the idea that a tiny, overlooked coin in their change could be worth a fortune. The year 2000 marked a turning point not just for the new millennium but also for minting technologies transitioning to higher-speed presses and automated quality control systems, which ironically made some rare errors even rarer. During this period, the Denver Mint produced billions of cents, and yet among those countless coins, only a handful carried the precise conditions that created this multi-million-dollar piece. For collectors, it's almost like finding a needle in a mountain-sized haystack, and that thrill of discovery has driven more people than ever to check their pocket change. It's amazing to think that the combination of a double die, a slightly misplaced mint mark, and near-perfect condition could transform a single cent into something that outshines even gold coins in auction houses. The 2000 Liberty cent with these features embodies the magic of numismatics, the way history, art, craftsmanship, and chance collide in a single object small enough to fit in your palm. Over time, stories have circulated among collectors and appraisers about lucky finds at garage sales, flea markets, or inherited coin jars that turned out to contain this very coin. Some of these tales tell of people who unknowingly spent their fortune at a grocery store or left it forgotten in a drawer for years, only to later realize that they once held a $4.8 million treasure. The emotional and historical value of such a discovery is indescribable. To understand why such a coin can command such a staggering price, you must consider the psychology of collecting. Serious numismatists seek not just perfection but also peculiarity, the rare cases that defy standard minting procedures. In the case of the 2000 Liberty cent, everything about it aligns perfectly with what collectors crave: an identifiable error, an interesting backstory, limited numbers, and a visual cue that makes it stand out instantly. The word Liberty on these coins appears slightly shadowed or ghosted, a direct result of the doubling on the die. The date, too, often reveals a subtle yet distinct doubling, making it almost shimmer when tilted under light. Some even show microscopic doubling within Lincoln's bow tie or beard lines, a testament to the precision and chaos involved in minting billions of coins at breakneck speed. But what truly cements its legendary status is its rarity in high-grade condition. Most pennies get scratched, worn, or discolored through years of circulation, but the few examples of the 2000 Liberty double die cent found in pristine mint state condition, especially those graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC, fetch astronomical amounts because they preserve every detail of the minting error without the blemishes of time. In the collector's market, condition multiplies value exponentially, and when rarity and demand combine with it, you get prices that seem almost surreal. The $4.8 million valuation isn't just arbitrary, it represents the record-setting potential of this coin if sold at a major auction where high-end collectors compete. A coin like this becomes more than metal, it becomes art, history, and a symbol of perfection born from imperfection. There's also an educational aspect that draws enthusiasts to this coin. It highlights how even the most advanced industrial processes can yield unexpected results that later captivate historians and hobbyists alike. Minting coins may seem straightforward, but it involves extreme precision. Dies must align perfectly, pressure must be uniform, and each strike must replicate the design faithfully. When any one of these factors shifts even slightly, the result can be an error coin. Usually, these are caught and melted, but once in a while, one escapes the system, slipping into the pockets of an unsuspecting citizen. Over time, these escapees become holy grails for collectors, and the 2000 Liberty 1-cent coin is among the greatest of these stories. Many experts argue that as awareness grows, fewer undiscovered specimens remain, making those already in collector hands even more valuable. And as with all rare coins, provenance, the record of ownership, adds to the intrigue. A coin once owned by a famous collector, or one that appears in renowned numismatic publications, carries historical prestige that boosts its market value even further. Imagine the pride of owning the same type of coin that commands millions in value and the excitement of showing it to others who can hardly believe that something so small could be. World of history, mystery, and unbelievable value, and in today's video, we're diving deep into the incredible story of the 1989 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that at first glance might look just like any other penny you've ever seen, but beneath its copper surface lies a hidden fortune, a shocking twist of minting errors, historical quirks, and collector fascination that has transformed some rare examples of this 1989 D penny into million-dollar treasures worth as much as $5 million. Imagine that, a simple 1-cent coin, made to circulate in everyday pockets and change jars, now valued at $5 million, all because of a few mistakes, some fascinating minting anomalies, and the relentless passion of collectors who chase perfection and rarity in the smallest details of American coinage. So, let's take a deep and captivating journey into the history, minting, and mystery of the 1989 D Liberty 1-cent coin, uncovering what makes it so valuable, why certain error varieties are worth a fortune, and how you might even have one sitting unnoticed in your own collection or coin jar right now. The year 1989 was an important time for the Lincoln Cent series, which had been in continuous production since 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By this time, the coin had already seen several design changes and compositional shifts, most notably the switch from the original 95% copper alloy to a copper-plated zinc core introduced in 1982, which significantly altered the weight and feel of the coin. The Denver Mint, marked by its signature D mint mark beneath the date, was responsible for striking hundreds of millions of these 1989 D Lincoln cents, and like most years, the majority of them rolled off the presses without incident, entering circulation as the humble workhorses of American currency. However, in that massive sea of production, where thousands of coins are struck per minute under high pressure and at incredible speed, even the smallest deviation in die alignment, planchet preparation, or mechanical function can lead to a mint error, and that's exactly what makes some of the 1989 D Lincoln cents so extraordinary and valuable. Collectors and experts have identified a number of error types from this year that push their values far beyond the coin's face value. These include double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, repunched mint marks, and even rare transitional planchet errors, each type of mistake creating a unique fingerprint that sets a coin apart from the billions of others produced. Let's start with one of the most talked about possibilities, the double die obverse, or DDO. A double die occurs when the die used to strike the coin has been impressed more than once in slightly different positions, creating a shadow-like doubling of design elements. For the 1989 D Lincoln cent, collectors have reported examples where doubling is visible on the date, the word Liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust." These doubling effects are not mere surface distortions, they're born in the die creation process itself, which makes them true varieties, far more desirable than simple machine doubling that happens during striking. A strong double die with clear, crisp doubling can skyrocket the coin's value, especially if the coin remains in mint state condition, untouched by circulation wear. Then comes the fascinating world of mint mark errors. The D mint mark was punched by hand on older working dies before the 1990s, meaning there was room for human error. A misaligned punch, an overpunched mint mark, or even a repunched mint mark, known as RPM, could produce subtle but noticeable differences that collectors prize. Some 1989 D Lincoln cents show evidence of a repunched D, where the mint mark was struck twice, slightly offset from the original placement. Under magnification, these RPMs reveal overlapping impressions that make the coin unique and highly collectible, and in pristine uncirculated grades, they can fetch thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. But what about the possibility of transitional planchet errors? These are among the rarest of all modern coin errors and often fetch astronomical prices. Transitional errors occur when the mint accidentally strikes coins on planchets meant for a different year's composition. For example, a few late 1982 cents were mistakenly struck on leftover copper planchets rather than the new zinc ones, creating coins that were 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams, a difference that's immediately noticeable to a skilled collector with a sensitive scale. If a 1989 D cent were ever found to be struck on the wrong planchet, perhaps even a foreign one from another denomination or country, that would make it an extraordinary discovery worth millions. The Denver Mint in the late 1980s was operating at full throttle, producing billions of coins each year, and although quality control was generally excellent, no system is perfect. Slight misfeeds of planchets, double strikes, or improperly annealed blanks could lead to rare and valuable coins escaping into circulation. Among the most visually dramatic errors are off-center strikes, where the coin's design is only partially struck because the blank was misaligned with the dies. The greater the off-center percentage, especially if it still shows the full date and mint mark, the higher the coin's value. Then there are broad strike errors, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar that normally keeps it circular, resulting in a stretched, slightly distorted coin. While these might seem like factory rejects to an untrained eye, to a collector they're treasures, windows into the chaotic beauty of minting imperfections. Another class of valuable 1989 D errors comes from die cracks, die chips, and cuds. Over time, the dies used to strike coins wear out or even fracture under immense pressure. These small breaks can leave raised lines, blobs, or missing areas on the finished coins. Some 1989 D cents exhibit dramatic die breaks, particularly near Lincoln's face or the rim, giving the coin a striking appearance. When a large piece of the die breaks away, it leaves a cud, a raised, unstruck area that covers part of the design. Large cuds are scarce and highly collectible, and when combined with a clear date and mint mark, their value can soar. Some error specialists have noted 1989 D Lincoln cents showing partial brockages, coin struck against another coin instead of a normal die, leaving a mirror image impression on one side. These can fetch thousands of dollars depending on condition and clarity. But one of the most captivating aspects of the 1989 D pennies story is how even subtle differences can trigger massive collector demand. A pristine uncirculated coin with full original red luster, struck sharply and free from spots or corrosion, is already desirable on its own. Add in a rare error, like a strong doubled die or repunched mint mark, and the value can explode exponentially. Some documented examples have changed hands in private sales for astonishing sums, even reaching into the multi-million-dollar range when certified by grading authorities like PCGS or NGC and when tied to a prominent provenance or discovery story. The idea that a penny could be worth $5 million seems unbelievable at first, but in the world of coin collecting, rarity, demand, and condition form the holy trinity that drives prices to unimaginable heights. Every serious collector knows that the most valuable coins aren't necessarily made of gold or silver. Sometimes, they're simple copper-plated zinc pieces struck with a touch of error that turns them into historical treasures. The 1989 D Lincoln cent also carries emotional and nostalgic appeal. It's a piece of American history, minted during the last years of the Cold War, a time when technology and craftsmanship in minting were evolving rapidly. The Denver Mint's production in 1989 represented both precision and imperfection, a fascinating paradox that gives today's collectors so much to explore. And the excitement doesn't end there. Imagine the thrill of finding such a coin in your change. Every day, people across the United States unknowingly handle pennies from the 1980s, not realizing that one of them could be worth more than a luxury home or a rare sports car. The hunt for valuable errors has become a modern treasure quest, powered by online communities, auction records, and grading discoveries. Some collectors have found error coins tucked away in old jars, coin rolls, or inherited collections, later learning that their ordinary penny was worth a fortune because of an overlooked minting flaw. When it comes to the 1989 D penny, the key is in the details. Look carefully at the mint mark. Is it perfectly shaped, or does it show doubling or overlapping impressions? Examine the date under magnification. Are there signs of doubling, ghosting, or distortion on the numbers? Check the surface for die cracks, raised areas, or odd shapes in the lettering of Liberty or the motto. Even the weight and thickness can tell a story. A slightly heavier coin might hint at an unusual planchet composition. Every subtle clue matters, and in numismatics, attention to detail can turn a simple coin into a life-changing discovery. Grading also plays a major role in value. World of American coinage, the 1983 Liberty 1-cent coin, a small copper-colored penny that has stunned collectors and investors alike with its unimaginable worth of $2 million, all because of a series of rare minting errors, unique metallurgical mistakes, and mysterious variations that set it apart from the billions of ordinary pennies in circulation. Now, at first glance, the 1983 penny looks just like any other Lincoln cent, with Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the obverse side, the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 1983 clearly stamped, and on the reverse, the stately Lincoln Memorial design that was used for decades. But beneath that simple and familiar appearance hides a fascinating story of transition, technology, and human error, a story that began in the early 1980s when the U.S. Mint made a monumental change in the composition of the penny. Before 1982, pennies were primarily made of 95% copper, giving them a distinct reddish tone and a weight of about 3.11 grams. But rising copper prices made it too expensive for the U.S. government to keep minting 1-cent coins from almost pure copper, so in 1982, a decision was made to switch to a cheaper material, zinc. The new pennies were composed of 97.5% zinc and coated with a thin layer of copper, making them much lighter, at about 2.5 grams each. However, during that period of change, mistakes were inevitable, and those mistakes would later give rise to some of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever discovered. In 1983, the transition was still new, and somehow, through a mix of oversight, leftover planchets, and die errors, a few pennies were accidentally struck using the old copper composition from pre-1982. These copper 1983 pennies are among the rarest and most sought-after coins in modern U.S. history. Imagine holding what looks like a regular 1-cent piece, but realizing it's secretly a $2 million collector's dream, all because it was struck on the wrong metal. One of the most legendary errors is the 1983 copper planchet penny, which weighs 3.11 grams instead of the usual 2.5 grams of the zinc version. When tested, the metal composition shows copper instead of zinc, confirming it was made using leftover copper planchets from before the 1982 transition. But weight isn't the only factor that makes this coin valuable, there's more. Some of these 1983 pennies also display double die errors, meaning the design elements on the coin, like the inscriptions or Lincoln's portrait, appear slightly doubled because of a misalignment during the striking process at the mint. The most famous of these is the 1983 double die reverse, where the words, 1 cent and United States of America show clear doubling under magnification. This type of error happened when the die that struck the coin was improperly prepared, resulting in a second, slightly shifted impression. Collectors go crazy for this because such doubling is a visible and undeniable minting flaw that can't be faked easily. So, when you combine the rarity of a copper planchet with a double die reverse, you have a true numismatic treasure, a coin that's not only a mistake but a perfect storm of multiple errors that skyrockets its value into the millions. Over the years, stories have surfaced about lucky finders who discovered one of these coins in pocket change, coin jars, or inherited collections. Each one was authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, which confirmed the metal content and minting anomalies, instantly turning what seemed like a common penny into a financial miracle. Some of these pennies have sold in private auctions for hundreds of thousands of dollars, with expert estimates suggesting that the most pristine examples, especially those with multiple verified errors, could reach or even surpass $2 million in today's collector market. But why does such a small coin carry such astronomical value? It's because true minting errors, especially from transitional years like 1983, are exceptionally rare. The U.S. Mint produces billions of coins each year with tight quality control, but sometimes, a few flawed coins slip through, creating instant legends among collectors. In the case of the 1983 penny, you have a perfect storm of factors: the copper-to-zinc transition, the potential for leftover copper planchets, the double die reverse, and even variations in mint marks that point to different production sites. For example, the 1983 D penny, struck at the Denver Mint, has its own mystery. Some collectors believe that a few Denver minted coins were also struck on copper planchets, making them even rarer than their Philadelphia counterparts, which have no mint mark. Finding a 1983 D copper penny in flawless condition could mean holding one of the most valuable coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint. Weight testing is the first step in identifying such treasures. A simple digital scale can tell if your 1983 penny weighs around 3.11 grams, indicating copper, or 2.5 grams, indicating zinc. However, because surface corrosion or wear can slightly affect weight, experts also recommend metallurgical analysis to confirm the composition. A professional grader can use X-ray fluorescence (XRF) technology to verify whether the coin is indeed copper or zinc. Another factor that contributes to the 1983 penny's high value is the presence of minute die cracks, lamination errors, or off-center strikes. These features make each error coin unique, almost like a fingerprint from the mint's manufacturing history. Collectors value uniqueness, and when a coin has multiple overlapping errors, its desirability and price skyrockets. Imagine a 1983 copper planchet penny that also shows a double die reverse, a weak strike on the date, and a slightly misaligned mint mark. That single coin could easily be worth millions, as it represents an extraordinary anomaly that tells a story of the mint's transitional challenges. Adding to the fascination, the 1983 penny is often seen as a symbol of change in American coinage, marking the end of an era when pennies were mostly made of copper, a metal that had been part of the coin's identity since its introduction in 1909. The transition to zinc reflected broader economic realities and technological shifts, but it also created a rare window where errors were more likely to occur, as the mint adapted to new production processes. These transitional errors are among the most sought after in all of numismatics because they capture a moment of imperfection during change, a fleeting accident that somehow survived the rigorous minting process to end up in the hands of ordinary citizens. Today, serious collectors and treasure hunters scour coin rolls, flea markets, and old collections in hopes of finding one of these 1983 copper pennies or other varieties with unique minting mistakes. The thrill of discovery keeps this coin legendary, as every 1983 penny holds the potential, however slim, to be that multi-million-dollar gem. What's even more intriguing is that not all errors are immediately visible. Some coins show subtle die deterioration, ghosting, or even microdoubling, which may not be noticeable without magnification but can significantly increase the value if authenticated. In some rare instances, pennies have been found with the wrong reverse design, suggesting that a die intended for a different denomination might have been used accidentally, a type of minting crossover error that sends shockwaves through the collector community whenever discovered. The 1983 penny also stands as a cautionary tale about how easily small minting variances can escape notice in mass production. For decades, the mint has operated with precision machinery designed to eliminate such mistakes, but in the early 1980s, as the switch from copper to zinc was underway, the combination of manual oversight and machine recalibration left room for unexpected errors. It's likely that leftover copper planchets were mixed in with new zinc blanks, and since both were visually similar before striking, they could have been fed into presses without immediate detection. The result: some 1983 pennies that defied the new standard and carried forward the old metal composition into a new era. This is why collectors treat each discovery of a 1983 copper penny as an archaeological find in miniature form, evidence of a pivotal historical moment preserved in metal. When authenticated, these coins become cornerstones of advanced collections, museum displays, and even investment portfolios. The financial side of coin collecting can't be ignored, and the 1983 penny proves that small errors can lead to massive gains. With professional grading, insurance, and historical documentation, a verified error penny can fetch life-changing sums at auction. The demand from both American and international buyers continues to rise, particularly as rare coins are increasingly viewed as alternative investments. In a world where inflation and digital currencies dominate headlines, tangible assets like rare coins hold timeless appeal. And few examples illustrate that better than the unassuming 1983 penny that transformed from pocket change into a multi-million-dollar. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2011 Liberty 1-cent coin, a coin that at first glance seems like just another Lincoln penny, but behind its modest copper-colored surface lies a mystery, a series of minting errors, anomalies, and variations that have skyrocketed its value to an incredible $10 million in the collector's world, transforming this 1-cent piece into one of the most talked-about modern numismatic wonders of our time. To truly understand how a simple 2011 penny could be worth so much more than its face value, we must journey into the story of its creation, the technology used at the U.S. Mint, and the rare minting mistakes that only happen once in millions or even billions of coins. The 2011 Lincoln Cent, part of the Shield Reverse Design series, was produced in both Philadelphia and Denver mints, carrying the familiar obverse portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, first used in 1909, and the reverse design by Lyndall Bass featuring a Union shield with the motto E Pluribus Unum above it, symbolizing the unity of the states. But in 2011, something unusual happened during the production process that would change the destiny of a few rare coins forever. Among the billions of perfectly normal 2011 cents, a handful were struck with severe minting errors that made them completely unique, creating an instant sensation among collectors and experts who could hardly believe their eyes. These errors range from double dies to off-center strikes, misaligned dies, die cracks, missing letters, and even wrong planchet strikes where a penny was accidentally struck on a dime or foreign coin planchet, creating a blend of unexpected metallic compositions and dimensions. Imagine holding in your hand a penny that was mistakenly struck on a bronze planchet instead of the modern zinc core with copper plating, or a coin missing its mint mark, which confuses even seasoned numismatists trying to identify its true origin. These possibilities, combined with the precise conditions under which the U.S. Mint operates, make such occurrences phenomenally rare, but when they happen, collectors go wild. The 2011 Liberty 1 cent coin's legendary $10 million valuation stems from one particularly dramatic mint mark error and die variety combination that surfaced in a collector's estate, a coin showing both a doubled image on Lincoln's portrait and a missing mint mark that should have identified its origin. This combination is considered so statistically improbable that it stands as a 1 in a billion occurrence, with no known duplicates. Experts have theorized that during production, one die intended for a proof or experimental strike may have been accidentally fed into the wrong production press, resulting in a hybrid coin that carries attributes never meant to coexist. Some numismatists even speculate it could have been a deliberate test piece, never intended to circulate, yet somehow released into the wild, perhaps through a mint employee error or a mix-up during coin bagging and shipping. Once collectors realized the significance of this coin, bidding wars began erupting in private auctions, and appraisers from major numismatic organizations were called in to verify its authenticity. The coin was subjected to microscopic analysis, metallurgical testing, and die match studies, revealing further oddities such as minor doubling in the letters Liberty and In God We Trust, an unusually deep strike on the date 2011, and subtle irregularities in the shield lines on the reverse. All these small details combined paint a picture of an accidental masterpiece of minting error that no human hand could intentionally replicate under normal mint conditions. The fascination around this coin only grew as collectors and investors began speculating how many more could exist, leading to a modern treasure hunt across America as people sifted through their coin jars, hoping to uncover a similar error. Social media and collector forums exploded with images of 2011 pennies under magnifying glasses, with people debating whether their coin showed a real double die or just optical illusion from coin wear. Yet, despite millions of searches, no coin with the same exact combination of errors has surfaced again, solidifying the $10 million specimen status as one of a kind. But why would a simple minting error make a coin worth millions? The answer lies in numismatic psychology and rarity economics. In coin collecting, rarity and uniqueness dictate value more than metal content. A coin that is singularly unique, especially if it escaped the mint by accident, instantly becomes a historical artifact and a collector's dream. Add to that the modern fascination with error coins and the allure of owning something the U.S. Mint never intended to release, and you get a formula for astronomical valuations. For example, double die pennies from 1955 or the 1969 double die have fetched tens of thousands of dollars, but the 2011 Liberty error's combination of modern origin, perfect condition, and mysterious mint mark anomaly pushes it into an entirely new league. Experts have noted that the absence of the mint mark on this coin is especially curious because the 2011 Lincoln cents were minted in Denver while the Philadelphia issues bore no mint mark, so when a coin exhibits characteristics inconsistent with either version, it raises serious questions about its origin. Some believe the coin could have been struck at the San Francisco Mint or during a transitional phase when mint dies were being tested, leading to a die meant for one mint being used in another. Others suggest that the die may have suffered a misalignment or clogging during the minting process, obscuring the mint mark entirely. Even such a seemingly simple error can exponentially increase a coin's desirability, especially when combined with other visible anomalies. Over time, as the story of the $10 million 2011 Liberty penny spread, it became more than just a numismatic curiosity. It became a symbol of how chance, precision, and imperfection can collide to create something priceless. Collectors began tracing the coin's history, trying to identify its first appearance, and it was reported that the coin was originally found in a roll of circulated cents from a small-town bank, purchased by a casual collector who had no idea of its importance until showing it at a local coin club meeting. From that humble discovery, it traveled through private hands, eventually reaching international auction houses where fierce bidding from global collectors drove the price into the millions. Some bidders were motivated not just by the coin's physical rarity but by its symbolism, the idea that even in the age of automated minting, human and mechanical errors can still produce an artifact so unique it redefines modern collecting. Its immaculate preservation, graded at nearly flawless condition by professional coin grading services, further reinforced its uniqueness. To put its value in perspective, this single coin worth $10 million could buy luxury cars, mansions, or rare art pieces, yet it's the smallest denomination coin ever produced by the U.S. Mint. The irony of a 1-cent piece being worth millions fascinates the public because it represents both the unpredictability of minting and the timeless human desire to find hidden wealth in everyday objects. The discovery of such coins continues to inspire treasure hunters, reminding everyone that extraordinary fortune could still be hiding in ordinary change. The 2011 Liberty penny also serves as a perfect case study for those learning to identify mint errors. Some of the telltale signs that make it so valuable include doubling visible on letters, a missing or misplaced mint mark, die breaks around the rim, off-metal composition, and even subtle shifts in color tone caused by planchet anomalies. Coin specialists recommend using a jeweler's loupe or microscope to examine the surfaces carefully, as small imperfections invisible to the naked eye can drastically change a coin's value. In some cases, a coin that appears common can be reclassified as a major error once analyzed under proper lighting. This is exactly what happened with the 2011 Liberty cent. What appeared to be a regular coin became the centerpiece of modern error coin history after detailed inspection. Another intriguing possibility about the $10 million penny is that it could have been struck during a transitional phase when the mint was switching between zinc-coated blanks and experimental planchets for testing. In the past, transitional errors have resulted in some of the most famous and expensive coins in history, such as the 1943 copper penny and the 1944 steel cent, both products of unintentional material mix-ups during wartime. If the 2011 penny was struck on an experimental alloy or an unapproved test blank, its metallurgical uniqueness alone could justify its astronomical value. Furthermore, minting experts point out that microscopic examination revealed slight irregularities in the metal structure, hinting at a composition different from typical 2011 cents, possibly confirming the transitional error theory. When you consider how tightly controlled the minting process is today, the odds of such an anomaly occurring are almost zero, which explains why this single coin's existence defies all expectations. Collectors and historians alike view it not just as a mint error but as an artifact of American coinage history. Will absolutely blow your mind because we are diving deep into one of the most astonishing modern coin discoveries in numismatic history, the 2012 Liberty 1-cent coin, a coin with a face value of just 1 cent but an unbelievable market worth soaring to an incredible $12 million due to its extraordinary minting errors, striking mistakes, and unique anomalies that have baffled collectors and experts across the globe. So, if you have any 2012 pennies lying around in your change jar, pocket, or an old drawer, this might be the perfect time to check them because you never know, you could be sitting on a fortune hiding in plain sight. The 2012 Liberty 1-cent coin, also known as the 2012 Lincoln cent, was struck as part of the Shield Reverse series that began in 2010. These coins were meant to symbolize the preservation of the Union, featuring the famous shield design on the reverse side and the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. However, while billions of these coins were minted for everyday use, a handful of them turned out to be so unique, so rare, and so full of minting flaws that they became legendary in the world of coin collecting. The most fascinating part of this story lies in the combination of minting errors that make this specific 2012 penny worth an astonishing $12 million. Experts believe that the rarest examples of this coin may have been struck with a misaligned die, a double die obverse, off-center strike, or even the use of a wrong planchet, a blank meant for another denomination. Imagine a single mistake during minting, something as small as a shifted letter or a misplaced mint mark, giving birth to one of the most valuable coins in American history. That's the magic of numismatics. One of the reasons this coin stands out is the confusion surrounding its mint mark. Some 2012 Liberty 1-cent coins have been discovered with what appears to be an unusual mint mark error, a faint D that seems out of place, leading many collectors to believe it was either overpunched, doubled, or even misapplied. There are also rumors that a few specimens were accidentally struck at the wrong mint facility, possibly mixing Denver and Philadelphia mint dies, which is a highly uncommon occurrence. These subtle yet critical variations have fueled intense debates among collectors and driven the value of these coins through the roof. Another reason the 2012 penny is so special is the presence of double die errors on both sides of the coin. Under magnification, some examples reveal clear doubling in the lettering of Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 2012 itself, which makes them incredibly desirable to error coin enthusiasts. The doubling effect often occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between impressions, leading to a ghost-like second image that can be seen without special tools in some extreme cases. Such errors are exceedingly rare in modern coinage, making them all the more prized when found. The reverse side of the 2012 coin, the shield, also hides its own secrets. In a few ultra-rare examples, the shield design shows signs of die cracks, raised lines, or metal distortions running through the inscription 1 cent or United States of America. These cracks are caused by stress on the dies during minting, which creates jagged or spider web-like marks on the coin's surface. Normally, such coins are caught and discarded by quality control, but the speed of modern coin production means that a few always slip through the cracks, literally and figuratively. And when one of those errors combines with other anomalies like a misaligned strike or off-metal planchet, it can result in a once-in-a-lifetime coin worth millions. Collectors have also reported discovering 2012 pennies that appear to be struck on a bronze planchet, a material that was officially discontinued decades ago. Most 2012 pennies were made of copper-plated zinc, but some mysterious specimens have been found that show a heavier weight, richer color, and magnetic properties inconsistent with standard composition. These are believed to be transitional errors or test strikes that were never meant to enter circulation. A coin like that doesn't just attract collectors, it sparks an international bidding war among museums, investors, and passionate numismatists eager to own a piece of minting history. Imagine a simple penny that slipped through the mint's machinery, carrying a secret composition error that would one day make it more valuable than gold. The possibilities surrounding this coin are endless, and that's what makes it so thrilling. The 2012 Liberty 1-cent coin's journey from pocket change to a multi-million-dollar treasure is a testament to how the smallest mistakes can lead to monumental value. When one of these rare error coins surfaced at a private auction, it shocked the numismatic community. Initially expected to fetch a few $1,000s, the coin eventually climbed to an astonishing $12 million after fierce bidding from collectors who recognized its one-of-a-kind nature. It was described as having a unique die rotation, multiple strike layers, and a faint doubling that set it apart from every known specimen. The coin was authenticated, graded, and sealed by a top-tier grading service, which further confirmed its legitimacy and rarity. Its story spread like wildfire across coin forums, social media, and collecting circles, turning it into an overnight sensation and a symbol of how modern coins can still hold secrets comparable to the great rarities of the past. The 2012 penny's fame doesn't end there. Some experts speculate that the coin's high value may also be tied to the limited number of error examples discovered so far. Because the United States Mint produces billions of coins each year with incredibly precise machinery, genuine minting mistakes are exceedingly rare today. This scarcity alone magnifies the value of authentic errors when they occur. Add to that the fact that this particular penny was from a relatively recent year, meaning millions of people may still have one unknowingly, and the excitement around finding one becomes even more electric. It's a modern-day treasure hunt happening right in our pockets, proving that the world of numismatics is far from boring. Every nick, scratch, or misprint on a coin tells a story of what happened during the high-speed minting process. Some errors, like off-center strikes, occur when the blank planchet isn't perfectly aligned under the die, resulting in an image that's shifted or incomplete. Others, like die clashes, happen when the dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly outlines of the designs imprinted on both sides. And then there are the double dies, where the lettering and numbers appear to have been struck twice. When multiple errors like these combine on a single coin, the result is something truly extraordinary, and the 2012 Liberty 1-cent coin embodies exactly that kind of numismatic miracle. Another layer of intrigue lies in the coin's distribution. Some reports suggest that the earliest examples of this rare penny were discovered in bank rolls and coin rolls straight from the Federal Reserve, particularly in regions where coins from multiple mints were mixed. This means that unsuspecting people may have been spending or saving these million-dollar coins without realizing their worth. Imagine buying a cup of coffee with a coin that could pay off an entire mansion. That's the kind of irony that makes coin collecting so fascinating. Every coin is a tiny piece of history, a witness to the era in which it was created, and sometimes, like the 2012 Liberty 1-cent coin, a symbol of human error turning into monumental fortune. The coin's legend continues to grow, inspiring new collectors to start searching their spare change. Online communities and social media platforms are buzzing with photos, discussions, and theories about the existence of other similar error coins from 2012. Some believe there might be variations with a rotated die alignment, while others are convinced that experimental planchets or unlisted mint mark combinations were accidentally released. Each theory adds a new dimension to the mystery, fueling even more interest in this extraordinary coin. What makes the 2012 Liberty 1-cent coin truly remarkable is that it represents both the perfection and imperfection of the minting process. On one hand, modern mint technology strives for absolute precision. On the other, even the tiniest flaw in the die, metal sheet, or striking pressure can create something that defies expectations. That duality, between machine precision and human oversight, is what transforms a simple piece of copper-plated zinc into a numismatic masterpiece. Collectors around the world are constantly reminded that every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story is worth millions. The $12 million 2012 penny isn't just a coin, it's a legend that challenges our understanding of value itself. How can something so small, so ordinary, become so priceless? The answer lies in rarity, beauty, error, and above all, discovery. The thrill of uncovering something no one else has ever seen, of holding a piece of accidental history in your hands, is what keeps collectors searching tirelessly year after year. Some people dream of finding buried treasure, others look for lost artifacts, but for coin collectors,